Hey gang, Central Coast Disc Golf is now brought to you guys by DyeMax Discs. They're an awesome disc golf company. Go support them. And to give back, they're also sponsoring a disc giveaway. So check the description for details. How's it going, guys? I got some more disc golf for you here. We got the Steady Ed Memorial Classic from De La Vega Disc Golf Course in Santa Cruz, California. Leading off right here, we got Paul Ulibarri ripping it uphill. This hole is tough. It is uphill, the windows are narrow, and there's a lot of roots on the ground, so skipping doesn't always happen. Here's Avery Jenkins. Crushes one up the right side. A little more up on the right side. Here's Stevie Rico. Gets an unfortunate kick off the tree right there. We got Ricky Wysocki. Absolutely crushes it up there, and he is parked. That was an absolutely beautiful shot. So here's Steve with his second, and I think he gets either a root or a tree right there. So there he is with his third. Gets it up there safe. Here's Paul with his second shot. And just misses. Avery with his two. Just caught a tree. So here's Avery putting for his par. Bangs it home. And here's Ricky for his deuce. What a drive.
Good too.
And Paul tapping in his par. So Stevie got a bogey, Ricky got a birdie, and Avery and Paul got pars. Alright, hole 2 here is a dogleg left. It's really uphill. Here's Ricky leading off. Throwing the forehand. I think he wanted it to Anheuser a little more than it did. Want a little more angle on that. Here's Paul. He's throwing a backhand. Yeah, the pin's tucked up on the edge of a cliff, so it's difficult. You don't want to go long.
Another one.
But you don't want to end up too far to the right too. There's a lot of shrubs. There's Avery ripping a backhand out there. Looks like it's going over pretty much everything. It settles about, I think, 25 feet to the right of the basket. Here's Steve with his drive. Throws one up there, and it doesn't hyzer as much as I think he'd like. And here's Ricky. And unfortunately hit the tree right there. Here's Steve with his second shot. Beautiful out. Parks it. So Paul Ulibarri is back there somewhere. I don't know if you can see him. And he misses, but I think he pars out. Here's Avery going for his birdie. And just comes up a little short. So Ricky got a bogey, everybody else got pars. Third hole is it's right in the middle of all these trees down the end. You'll see it. All those big trees right down the middle. It's most people just pump a big forehand out there, or you can you'll see in a second. Stevie throws a roller here. It's really nice. I actually stole that last time I went out and played it and threw a roller. So Paul's about 30 out. Here's Avery. Pumping a huge forehand out there.
Nice.
Looking beautiful, and he's pretty much parked. So here's Steve, and he's gonna throw out our roller right here. I love a good roller. Nice sky roller.
Okay.
This one's going just a little long. He's about 35-40 long, but he's down there. You just gotta look at it. Here's Ricky throwing a forehand too. Crushes one out there. He has a huge forehand. The kid just crushes, honestly. And I think he's about 30 out. So here's Steve for his birdie. Just misses. Here's Paul for his birdie. You see he's just outside the circle by about 36 feet. 35 feet, something like that. He just comes up short. So here's Ricky for his 2. He's got about a 30-footer. Bangs it home. Murder Mike right there. Well, Avery taps it is too. So Avery and Ricky with birdies, and Paul and Steve with pars. 4th hole here, we got a dogleg left, kind of, and then it kind of goes straight again. But there's a huge cliff to the right, so everybody pretty much throws a big forehand roller. It's just the safest shot. It'll get you down there, and you're not going to roll off the cliff because it's going to roll off to the left. Here's Ricky throwing a forehand roller as well. Pumps it out there. Big ol' roller. He ends up about 35 feet left of the pin high, but his putt got corrupted somehow, so you won't see it, but he pars. There's Paul throwing the backhand, and that's why the roller is better, because if you throw the backhand, you're probably going to hit a tree up there. Here's Steve throwing the forehand roller too. So here's Paul with his 2nd shot. You can see the basket that's down by that light tree. He's just throwing a big hyzer over everything. He comes up about 15 feet long. So here's Avery with his 2nd shot. Forehand, I think it catches some tree, and he ends up about 15 feet short. So there's Steve with his 2nd shot, and you can see it's a pretty scary putt, so he's just playing it safe and laying up. So here's Avery for his par. Let's say I lost Ricky's putt, but he made par. Clanged off the basket from about 30, and then just put it in. Here's Paul for his 3. Bangs it home. Nice putt. So everybody parred that one. Hole 5, 318 uphill, but you also gotta get over all these bushes. It is a huge shot. You see Avery comes up just a little bit short, and it trickles down. It's the basket is just to the left of the huge pine tree. So here's Ricky crushing out a huge drive over all the bushes. He ends up about 35 feet long. You could just see the stem of the basket right there. So here's Paul with his drive. And he crushes one out there. I think he comes up either just a little bit shorter. He just gets a weird roll. Because watch it roll on the ground right there. Boom. It's rolling all the way to the right. And he parred from there. So here's Steve with his drive. And he's taking the other approach, which is to go towards that dead tree. There's a break in the shrubs you can actually putt through if you land in the right spot. And Steve's a pro, so he knows exactly where to land. Beautiful shot. So here's Avery with his 2nd shot. And you can't see the basket, but it's over to the right. Avery clangs off the pole right there. So here's that break in the shrubs I was talking about where Steve threw his. This is for his birdie. Oh, it comes up a little short. So here's Ricky for his 2. He's got about a 36-footer. He's got a death putt too. It drops off on the other side real quick. No problem. What a putt. So I birdie for Ricky. Everybody else parred. We got hole 6. This is probably the most wide open hole on at De La. But you got to worry about the road. It's right behind the pin, so you can't go long. You can see Ricky probably just throwing a rock or something, letting it float down. Beautiful shot. Here's Paul with his drive. Last time out, of course, I whacked the telephone pole. You never think you're going to, but of course I did. Here's Paul. Beautiful drive. Nice and safe. Here's Steve with his drive. He throws it out there. He's nice and safe too. They could hyzer down a little more than they'd like, but not bad. And here's Avery with his drive. I think he got a hold of this a little more than he wanted to, because it just kept going.
Nice.
And he goes over the road, OB.
Oh.
Here's Steve with his birdie attempt. Just misses. I think he did stay in bounds though, fortunately. Here's Ricky with about 36-footer. Just glances off the chains, but he also stays in bounds. And here's Avery with his par attempt, because he had a penalty stroke for going to a B. And he makes that one, which is pretty clutch. So here's Steve for his par. No problem. And Ricky for his par. And Paul parred as well. Alright, we got hole 7. This is a really, really tough hole. Low ceiling, really far, and there is a cliff, like 10 feet after the basket. Ricky crushes one out there. I think he threw a rock about 400 feet right there. I think it's about pin high, about 30 feet to the right of the pin. That went through all the shrubs. Here's Paul to his drive, and he has an absolutely beautiful drive. This is what you want to try and do. Have some high-speed turn and then hyzer out beautifully the basket. I think he might have skipped just a little farther left than he would have liked, but it was a beautiful shot. Here's Steve's drive. Also really nice. I think this has a little more turn than he'd like. But it's coming back.
Oh, that's gonna work.
Pretty nice. Here's Avery. Rips one out there. Flips it over a little more than he'd like. So here's Avery with his second shot. And you see the cliff I was talking about. You really don't want to go long. I mean, there's a literal drop off. De La is just basically on a plateau on top of this ridge. So here's Paul with his second shot. See, he's pretty much pin high, but doesn't have a very good look at it, being in the bushes. So here's Ricky with his birdie attempt. You see what I mean by he went through everything? I don't know how, but he did. And he misses from there, but here's his par putt coming back at it. Bangs it home. Pretty scary putt. There's Uli for his par. And Steve for his par. All real nice putts. And Avery for his par. Alright, that's it for this part, guys. I will catch you in the next one.